That's funny. Angie said woosah first.
And we are
Everybody, we are
live.
here. We are here with Stephanie Dayton. Stephanie, woo! We are so happy to have you here. Like I just told you earlier, I'm so happy to have you here. Like you are phenomenal. You are phenomenal. I just can't express that enough. Like I've been
Yeah.
wanting to talk to you one on one since like when I started doing them interviews. Like I'll talk. Okay, I want to get Stephanie. I want to get Stephanie. Oh, I want to talk to her.
I'm very happy to be here. I'm so glad y'all are doing this. So many people try to put things together for her, and it might not be up to snuff, kind of like of what she would have in mind, although greatly appreciate it. And we appreciate, well, I personally appreciate all the love, but this is a lot in line of what she would want to have done for her. She would want people to share their ideas, not just talk about her, but how her ideas impacted people, because that's what she wanted to be her legacy. She never wanted to be a status quo type of person. She wanted to be different, and she wanted to show other people how to be different. She wanted to ignite, a fire in people, and get them to think outside of the box. And you guys have been showcasing that a lot today. And so she would be very happy about this. And so I appreciate that. So keep up the great work.
Thank you, thank you. And I love the fact that you noticed it. And, you're participating. Like when I started the Eyes Right, I couldn't believe how immediately y'all showed up. Like specifically you and Uncle Kyle. Like the day I started it, y'all were here.
Mhm. Well, I
Y'all
miss
were
him so
here.
much, God. But he and I used to talk about you a lot. Like he loved you to death. I don't know how much you and him he spoke, but he spoke very highly of you. He loved you to death. He always thought that you showed Lisa the type of appreciation that she deserved. Don't you start. Don't you start. But he he was very he was well known in the industry, so he spoke to a lot of people, and he always heard the good and the bad, and he heard a lot of bad along with the good, and that hurt him a lot because he and Lisa were so close. But he always felt that you respected her and you showed her the love that she deserved, and he appreciated that about you. He spoke very highly about
Thank you.
you.
Man, when I tell you Uncle Kyle, whew,
Yeah.
you him internet.
You know what he did for me? He made my wedding gown for me as a gift.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yes, that's my boy. That's my boy. And he loved Lisa so much. It was kind of like they had a daughter, excuse me, uncle niece relationship, a business relationship,
yep.
a best friend relationship, a creative relationship. They had like so many levels to their relationship. So it was very dynamic. It was a love hate relationship. Like they would get on each other's nerves so much, like, but they would totally get each other. Like when they'd start talking about a design or an idea for a design, like they would finish each other's sentences. It was the craziest thing you would ever see. They talk about an idea, like earlier when you guys were talking about the whole Stan Lee thing. They both had the idea of creating kind of a superhero outfit that she could use to help convey the whole idea that she had, um, in regards to the whole idea of the characters that she had and what she wanted to do as far as the comics and everything. And when they started talking about the design for the outfit, she was like, well, I had this in mind and I can't really explain it. And then Kyle would start talking about it. And she was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And she's like, and then we could, and he would finish it. And she's like, exactly. And then before we knew it, he would have an idea and she would sketch it out and he'd have a similar sketch and it would look almost identical. It was, they were so much on the same vibe, but then they would argue like cats and dogs. It was like a brother-sister relationship. It was, there were so many different levels to it, but when they got together, they would create something so beautiful and so unique, and it was wonderful to watch. It was wonderful to watch.
That I didn't. It's so rare for me to actually even like visit the whole Stan Lee thing. It's like Stan Lee. She was gonna have a comic.
That's right.
She was. It was going to be like a superhero type thing, where she was. It was going to be one of the characters in the website, in the one of the kind of like the lead character that led all of the other 12 characters, and she wanted to be in character when she spoke to him about the whole idea to help convey the full picture of it. And it was, we actually went to the designer, and it was going to be made out of some freaky material that they came up with. And, you know, it was like hanging from the wall when we went to the designers, and it was insane. It was a crazy idea that they came up with. But yeah, she was sketching out the whole idea right before she passed. It was insane. And I could totally see her having a character with a line of comics that would have the fans going crazy about it. And it would end up being a series that would go on and on and on. And she was very much into writing stories. So I don't doubt that would be something she'd be into to this day. I mean, I'm in my 50s. She was in the same age as me. So she enjoyed writing so much. And even when she got out of music, she wanted to do books and things like that. So I don't doubt that she would be writing a series of comics. Yeah.
That would be fire. Like it's like, you know, it's funny. I don't remember ever getting that information until today about Stan Lee. I'm like, what? Huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's so it was gonna be like her own Left Eye comic, like Supernova inspired.
Yep. That would be crazy, right? And she's such a little thing. That would be like so different than any other comic heroes out there now. But she was going to do it. And if anybody could make that successful, it would be her. It would be her, because it would be like kind of female empowerment. You know what I mean? And the underdog, because she's so tiny, and it would be amazing.
Actually, it's funny. I was gonna get that started years ago because I had an idea of that. I just kept thinking about taking what she had for Supernova, the website, and just making it into a comic. You know, and that wow, she really was gonna do that herself.
Yep. Yep.
Always 10 steps ahead.
Always.
You don't. I don't know if you've ever heard this before. I might have even talked to you about it before. But you talk about being 10 steps ahead. When she was doing Supernova, she wanted to engage the fans in some way and let them in. So she actually took this idea to LA Reid, and she said, you know what? And this blows my mind. She said, you know what? I want to let the fans into my life. So I want to sell an enhanced version of Supernova. And it wasn't about the money, but she knew that she could capitalize on it. But it wasn't about the money. But she wanted to sell a second version of Supernova that allowed access to a website, which would, she wanted a camera to follow her around 24/7 to give all access into her life. And she never wanted the camera to be cut off unless she was like changing or in the restroom or anything like that. Otherwise, she never wanted and she wanted, if you got this enhanced version of the CD, you could get access to this website, which gave you a 30-day pass to the website to see her life for 30 days. No interruptions unless those times that the camera was turned off. So you could see her cooking, you could see her recording, you could see her interacting with her family, you could see her writing, you could see her interacting with the fans, you could see anything that she does for 30 days. Basically, reality TV before reality TV was reality TV.
Yeah.
She took it to Arista, she explained the idea to L.A. Reid, and his response was, nobody will be interested. Nobody wants to see what you do day to day in your life. It'll never sell, and turned it down. But that's just another case of her being way ahead of her time.
Yeah, because I remember when you dropped that, and I'm like, I can't believe this. I can, but I can't believe it. It's just like, oh, oh. See, we'll get to this because we got a whole outline. But that takes me sometimes. I'm like, you gaslighted her like hell with that. Gaslighted her. Ooh. Okay. So we're here at the Behind the Eye, a conversation with Lisa Left Eye Lopez's former personal assistant, Stephanie Dayton. So we already did this introduction. Y'all know who Stephanie is. If you don't remember, she was like if I'll get right to it. Last days of Left Eye. Like right there.
Somebody said
You said that tone. That tone is set.
Oh,
That tone is set. Stephanie, calm down.
what that that.
I can't believe how that became a thing with us as fans. I was like, wow. And to see y'all interact like that earlier with I loved it. I loved it.
That was wow.
That was beautiful.
it had to be done. It had to be done. On the set. You know, when they were doing the last day, when MTV was actually editing the the footage, there was so much footage, and they were emotional and they were upset about some of the things that they were seeing in the video footage, and they saw that that scene, and Melissa, the girl that I was in contact with at that time at MTV, she said they printed out a banner that said "You set the tone," and they hung it up across the office, and that helped inspire them to get through.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
She said, "Stay out of my goddamn eye, die, goddamn die," and walk away. All right, we got to we got to get back on it. So, brief overview of the topics to be covered in this conversation: Stephanie's background, daily life and responsibilities with Lisa when working with Lisa Left Eye Lopez, Lisa's personality and work ethic, Lisa's business acumen,
But you can just say business mindset. You're smart.
challenges and memorable moments as well. We'll be going over introduction to the concept of her uncovering questions fans haven't asked or not going to ask directly themselves. Uncovering, exploring deeper themes, transitional pictures, a lot of different stuff, even a photo fly on the last half. So, all right. So your background. We wanted to talk about like a brief overview of Stephanie, like your career and how you began working with Lisa. Can you tell us?
Sure. Well, I never wanted to be in entertainment, never wanted to have anything to do with music. That was not my background at all. I went to the University of Dayton and studied psychology. I just, due to financial reasons, I didn't finish my last year of college. I lucked up on a great job at ADT, worked there for a while, and a few years later, my partner at the time, he just happened to be working with a partner of Ian Burke's at the time, and Ian also was partnered with Lisa at that time, and that's the time that she was branching off on her own, and Ian was helping her. She was the creative part, and Ian was the business part at that time. And the first thing she needed to do was find a personal assistant, and he was going to take on that part for her. And they didn't want to advertise the job because that would clearly have a lot of people apply, and that's just something they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And so they were going around asking for referrals, and he put my name in the hat. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't ask, I didn't know about it. And he just came home one day and said, "Hey, by the way, you might have a job with Lisa Left Eye Lopes. I'm confused. I didn't know about this. I didn't apply for this. And I was a fan. And, you know, in the media, they had her portrayed as somebody crazy. She set fire to Andre's house. I was scared. I was like, I don't know if I want to work with this crazy person. Honestly, that's the thought that was in my head. But you know, I didn't know what to believe and what not to believe, but I went ahead and had an interview with Ian first. And then he went ahead and set up an interview with her. And I was so scared. And we went to Ian's office and for the second interview, and she came bebopping in with her army jacket and scarf on. And, you know, she just was just normal. You know, I expected a diva to walk in, and that's not what happened. She came in and she just was very down to earth. I was extremely intimidated, and it was wild because she said she wanted somebody that wasn't into the industry because she had working with her before had always wanted to be in front of the camera, and they had their own agenda. And she didn't want that. She wanted somebody that was actually going to do the job. And she said, do you have a car? I said, yes. She said, because I need somebody to get to work. Because, you know, a former assistant that I had, her mom was driving her to work. You know, sometimes she couldn't get to work. And then when I said that it wasn't working out, her mom came up there to talk to me about getting her job back. And I thought that was very odd. We were grown folks, and that's not funny, Courtney in India.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She had her mother come up there to talk about getting her job back. And she was like, I don't have time for this. Like, this is about business. I need whoever I hire to help me. Not for their mother to come up there talking to me about getting her job back. Like, I need her to get to work with her own reliable transportation. I was like, I can do that. I have a car. Like, I think I can do this. And she was like, you know what? And she was straight up. She was like, you know what? That'll work for me. Let's give it a try. And she said, let's work this out. And I had no idea what I was doing. I had never been a personal assistant before. And they just wanted to try to work it out. I lived 3 miles from her at the time, so it was something that was close, and I just figured I'd give it a try. And Ian had me start, and the first week I was there, she was in Honduras, so I was just like setting up the office and, you know, just trying to get acclimated to the surroundings and things like that. And when she got back, Ian said my first task was to make sure that she got on a plane. This is my first day. Just to make sure she just came back into town with her boyfriend at the time, Sean, who was a model. And she was supposed to get up the next morning and get on a plane to London to promote her hosting the MOBO Awards. And my only task in life was to make sure she got up in the morning and to get into the car to the airport to get to the MOBO Awards. That's my only mission in life. So I get her up in the morning and she's like, okay, I'm getting ready. And I make her breakfast. I take it up. She takes her breakfast. And I go up a little while later to try to get her luggage. And, you know, I don't know what to do. I'm just like, let me see what I can do to help her. Hey, Lisa, can I bring your luggage down? She's like, no, I'm okay. And car shows up there and I knock on the door. Lisa, the car's there. She's like, okay, I'll be down in a minute. So I'm down at the bottom of the stairs. So I'm waiting for her to come down. And she comes down. She's not dressed. And she's like, oh, I'm not going. What? Yeah, I'm not going. Me and Sean are going somewhere else. And then she brings down some suitcases. Her and Sean get in the car and they just leave. this was my very first task with Lisa, and I'm like, what? I don't know what to do. I don't feel like I can call her and be like, you need to get, to the Mobo Awards. It's my first day with her. I call Ian and I'm like, Ian, she didn't go to the airport. He's like, well, where'd she go? I don't know. Well, you need to find her. What am I supposed to do? She left. And it was a very bad day for me. That was actually the day she left with Sean for the whole missing thing, where everybody was looking for her. And it was my first day, so she didn't take the time to explain to me what the plan was. She didn't know that she could trust me at that time. And that's how I got hired, and that was my first day.
Yeah. I remember when you shared that. Oh my God.
That was but so after so I spent a couple years with her until the day she passed in Honduras. And after that, it was pretty devastating time for me because I had lost my friend, I lost my job, I lost my boss, I lost everything. And it was at that time I had someone that was with us in Honduras saying some really dark things about me at that time, and that had me kind of doubting my relationship with Lisa, and it was a really dark time. And it took me a while to get back on my feet, and I ended up getting a regular gig at an office at a medical facility where I was doing office management. And then one day Lisa's mom called me and she said, hey, I have been trying, this is exactly how the conversation went. I have been trying to get in touch with Jamie Foster Brown for 2 weeks, and I can never get in touch with her because she doesn't have a good personal assistant. So I told her she needs to work with you because you were so good with Lisa. So I told her to hire you, and you have an interview with her next week. So you need to call her. Whoa. I'm like, Wanda, I'm at work right now. I have a job. She's like, well, you have an interview with her next week, so call her. This is your number. I called Jamie and was on a plane that Friday, and she offered me the job the next Monday, and I ended up working.
That's dope. That's dope.
So I lucked up on 2 jobs in the industry by referrals. Nothing I've ever wanted to do, never was in music and never was in the magazine business, and picked up a lot of skills in both jobs that kind of took me to the best cause.
It's kind of like Lisa was working through her mother at that moment.
It was crazy. I was scared to death in both jobs too. It was insane.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't know. Wow. I didn't know about the person in Honduras talking bad about you, and how you got the job at Sister. I was like, oh, she's a journalist there. Okay, I thought that was dope, but I didn't know how it happened. But I'm like, for me, I thought it would be through Jamie. Like y'all just had a conversation and I thought that's how it happened, but I didn't know Wanda was involved.
That was all Wanda. That was all Wanda. That was all Wanda. And then when I was working at Sister to Sister, I traveled with Jamie for all of her interviews. So I ended up having to hold the recorder, help her with questions, help transcribe the interviews and everything. And it got to the point where sometimes she might have had a scheduling conflict, and she'll be like, well, Stephanie, you have the questions, just go ahead and do the interview, and I would started doing interviews. And then she had me start to do some research and compile some interview questions for future interviews. And then I started transitioning into the kind of the journalist role. And they started giving me assignments to do some interviews, and I started doing it on my own for the next several years. And I loved it. And I started getting bylines. I was like, okay, girl. They started putting me on the masthead as a journalist. And I was like, okay. I loved it.
That's beautiful. Oh, and it's funny, like it's really crazy because to me it makes sense, you and Jamie, because y'all. I just can only imagine the conversations y'all had, especially because of Lisa. It made me think of Melanie C. When Melanie C, I could be misquoting her, but I remember she said, you know, when Lisa passed, it didn't hit her until she met T-Boz and Chili finally, like over 10 years later, they did a show together. And she just said she just started crying uncontrollably. And then she realized when Lisa passed, she didn't really have anybody to grieve with. Because people knew of her, you know what I'm saying? But no one knew her like Melanie, you know, like Melanie did. So like, damn, like, you know, I was a very big fan of her at TLC, and me and her connected really, really hard, you know what I'm saying? And she passed. Who I know in the Spice Girls, they got a relationship with her like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Someone told me once that their song actually made an impact on the economy over there because it was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's how much they loved her over there.
She probably
Yeah,
would.
man.
She probably
It
would
was
have done it
huge.
again.
It was huge.
She probably would have done it again with Supernova. I'm just saying. We'll get to that again. We'll get to this. So you already answered the second part where it was discussed, you know, your initial impression of Lisa and the early interactions. Now we're on working with Lisa Left at Lopez, the daily life and responsibilities. What was a typical day like of Lisa Lopez? You know, from your perspective.
Well, I would, if we were in town, I would get to work at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and would be responsible for getting her up and making sure that she followed her schedule for the day, and that would vary from day to day, just depending on if she was recording or not. Um, she would have, oh gosh, she would have studio time, which she was never, ever, ever on time for. Ever, ever, ever on time for. She would schedule studio time starting at noon. So I would wake her up at um, 9 o'clock when I would get to work. She would get up. While she was getting dressed, I would usually be cleaning up the basement area, which is where the office was. And, you know, if there were guests there the night before, it might not be tidy, you know, so I would tidy up in case we had guests or business meetings that day. So I would, you know, tidy up downstairs, and I would be checking emails and voicemails while she was getting ready. Um, may or may not get her something to eat. At times she would have, as Carl was mentioning earlier, Bree. Bree was there for a while, but not always. If she wasn't there preparing something to eat, or Lisa wasn't preparing something on her own, I might make her something to eat, or may run out and do some shopping to get some food. She would always wake up for like the first year I worked with her. She would always wake up listening to Christina Aguilera,
Yeah.
Eating in the Bottle CD.
Wow.
Every morning. And then she would come down. We would talk about what the deal was for the day. It might be anywhere from I need you to run these errands, go by my mom's and take this, or go grocery shopping, or I need this fabric picked up, or whatever, if we weren't going to the studio. If we were, I made a lot of art supply runs also. She would always want canvas, books to draw in, pencils, because all of our business ideas, rhymes, book ideas, anything she was working on, she always sketched it out. She always sketched it out in very large pads. Never regular size notebooks, not really. Color pencils and things like that. So there were a lot of art runs. But if we went to the studio, we would drive to the studio, and crazy enough, we always drove in my car, my little Cavalier, Chevy Cavalier. When I had first started with her, she was driving a huge SUV. However, she had driven that to Honduras with Sean on that missing trip. And because she was leasing that vehicle and it was all over the press, the leasing company found out about it, and her contract stated she was not supposed to drive it out of the country. And when they found out about that, they took the vehicle unexpectedly. And it just so happened that that day that they took it, she needed to be somewhere. So we went in my car, and I just ended up driving from that point forward because she never had time to look for another vehicle. So the whole time we were together, she'd be riding around in my little two-door Cavalier, which I hated because I'm like, you're left eye. Why are you riding shotgun in my little Cavalier? She was like, I don't need to get a car. Let's just, ride in your car. Stephanie, let's ride in your car. So I'd be driving her around in my little Cavalier. So I would drive her to the studio, and usually while she was writing or in the studio, I'd be in the studio fielding phone calls, doing food runs, taking care of whatever she asked me to do. She'd have an idea. She'd be like, I have an idea for this. I want you to run out and do this because this will help me think. Anyway. But if we have a 12 o'clock studio time, I might get her there at 4. So from 12 to 4, I spend trying to get her up and out to the studio literally every 30 minutes. Lisa, we gotta get to the studio. It's this late. It's this late. And the whole time I've got the engineer calling me, producers calling me like, hey, we're in the studio. We need Lisa here. So during that time, I'm fielding phone calls, complaining, about her being late. And so that would be the day of studio. And we might, because she got there at 4, she's ready to put in an 8-hour day in the studio. So we'd be there till midnight or later. And then I'd drive her, back home. Around the holidays, I would take her Christmas shopping, which was bananas because she's Lisa and she wants to shop for everyone. So, and she's very, 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 very picky. So it's not just Christmas shopping like any of us would go Christmas shopping. And she's a perfectionist. So if she wants to get her brother a sweatshirt, a Nike sweatshirt, she can't just get any Nike sweatshirt. She's got to get a specific Nike sweatshirt that she pictures in her mind. And we might go to 10 different stores in one day to find one specific Nike sweatshirt. So, it's challenging to shop with Lisa, but she's Lisa. So you do it.
It probably been easier nowadays.
Excuse me?
It probably been easier nowadays. All you gotta do is pull up Amazon.
I don't know if she would want to do that. She likes to feel the material and she's one of those kinds of people. She wants to see if it's actually good quality and that kind of a thing. But it would be just, she was just she was really a regular person. She would like to go out and do her own things. If we went to the grocery store, she wants to be the one to feel the fruit, to see if it's firm or not, or if it's ripe or not. She was just a regular person. She always went out in sweats and a t-shirt and a scarf, our days were just regular days. It just depended on what stage in life she was at. If she was writing or producing or working on the book or working on the website, she spent a good deal of time interacting with fans, and she might see something online that, hey, this fan just told me about this particular kind of yoga. Stephanie, go research this and go find me some DVDs. You can find them downtown at this store. It would just kind of depend on what was happening at that time. So
at least they gave you directions, which is good. Like, hey, you can find it.
Sometimes. So it just kind of depends.
So we talked about, you making sure she's on time and, going to search for things for her. So what were all the key responsibilities you had while working with her?
Like I said, I just had to take care of her with whatever she needed. And it just, it would depend. It really was whatever she needed at the time. Making travel arrangements, helping her with getting where she needed to go, being with her all the time. It's when you do everything for somebody, it's difficult to explain what you do because it could be anything. It could be go turn my phone on, go pick my man up some dinner, go um, clean up downstairs, come with me to an award show, help me read this and tell me what you think about this. Listen to me while I bitch and complain about what I'm unhappy about. Uh, I have this new artist. Tell me what you think about it. It could be literally anything. When you're a personal assistant, there is no job description. It's just you do whatever you need to do for that person at the time that they need it. And it could be it could span it could be anything, literally anything.
All right. Well, so now we'll go to Lisa's personality and work ethic. So insights into like what insights can you give Lisa's her personality, her work ethic, and how she managed her career? We talked about time management, but
Lisa's personality is she was very generous, extremely generous, and she was very nurturing. She always wanted to take care of people. When there were people around her, she wanted to cook for them. When people were um, not feeling well, she wanted to take care of them. This is what you do when this happens. Like I had a sty on my eye. She was like, she went to the store. She was like, well, this is what you need to put on that. This is how you take care of this. You need to boil some ginger and drink some ginger tea because that'll make you feel better. She was very motherly and nurturing. She had that type of personality. It didn't matter if she knew you or if she didn't know you. She wanted to take care of you. She wanted to heal you. She wanted to help you. She wanted to constantly be a teacher. She felt like she had learned a lot in her short life and it helped her so much and she wanted to spread that knowledge and teach others because she felt like it could help so many other people. She was not confrontational at all. She took a lot of crap and would not fight back because she never wanted to get into it with anybody. For her to fight back, it had to be where she had to survive because she had no other choice. But she never, ever, ever wanted to fight back. She would just rather people think poorly of her. And, she just looked at it as, well, that's on them and I can't do anything about it, but I'm not going to defend myself because I don't think I have to, that kind of. She was, she always felt like it's not that she wanted to be creative, but she felt a need to be creative. Like if she couldn't create, then I think she would be depressed. Like that was a need that she had. And you could tell she wouldn't be herself if she wasn't creating at that time. Like if she wasn't writing rhyme, she had to write a story. If she wasn't writing a rhyme or story, then she had to draw or paint. If she wasn't doing something like that, then she had to create a website or an idea or a concept. Like she had to get that out of her because she was constantly having it in her brain and she had to get it out. So that was something that was part of her. She was very quiet, actually. Lisa's very quiet. She's an introvert. It's crazy that she had to get that out, but she was also an introvert. She spent a lot of time in her room. by herself. She she was very quiet. She didn't spend a lot of time with friends. She preferred to spend time alone. She was a loner. Um, she she vibed more with people that she could be creative with. She wasn't the type of person that would just go out and make friends. She connected with people on a creative level. You're not going to see her go to a party and just like meet people like, oh, hey, how you doing? Let's hang out. Like that wasn't her. She would connect with people on a creative level, and that's who she felt close with. Um, she, as far as her business acumen, she, she never followed like a business type of blueprint. She never like studied that type of a path to follow. She just would have a vision, and I'm sorry, excuse me. She would just have a vision and think, this is what I think, this is what I like, this is what I would be interested in, and I think others out there would like this too. How can I make this happen? Because I think there's a want for this, and if I want this, I know there's other people out there that would be interested in this too. How can I make this happen? And she would find a way to make that happen. And it may be something that was never done before, like the whole example I gave earlier about wanting to see her life, because she would always have so many fans ask her about, her life. And she was like, well, hell, why don't I just let them in to see it? And nobody was doing it at that time. But she was like, I'll just find a way to let them see it for themselves. And how can I make this happen? I can attach this to my project. I'm getting so much, I'm supposed to get so much exposure on this project. This is how I can link that to this project. I can let them in this way. You know what I mean? So she would find a way to tie things together. I don't have to promote it on my own. I can just use these promotions to promote a way for people to get in, because that's what people want to see. So I'm going to find a way to promote a way for them to see it. So she would not go with the status quo. She never wanted to go with a status quo. Like for the whole when everybody thought they were fighting, and she wanted to challenge the group with, you do your own album and I'll do my own album. That was all business to her, because she wanted to do her solo project, and they had a certain number of albums to produce before they could get out of the contract. So she was thinking, if each one of them do an album, that's 3 albums down, and that'll get them closer to fulfilling their contract, and the closer she can get to getting out of it and get on her own. So it wasn't that she was like, oh, you're not anything and you're not anything and I'm more talented than you. She was like, instead of us doing 1 album and that's just getting us 1 album closer, we can do 3, and that knocks 3 down. That was a business move to her. That was a strategic move for her. So, her whole business approach was, let's think out of the box to get us what we want, and let's make it happen. And it always worked for her. And sometimes people didn't get it, or they misconstrued what she was trying to do, but it was all business for her. It was all business for her.
That's true. Like she said that too. And me and Core, we talk about it. So Core, I don't know if you read her handle, but she's T-Boz Archive. So she's a big T-Boz fan page. What I am with Left Eye is basically what she is for T-Boz. So it's like, we talked about this before, and it was just like, it was a great idea. It was just Lisa's delivery and the timing of it all. That's what killed it. It was a phenomenal, incredible idea that even Outkast ended up capitalizing on it. So
Exactly.
it's like too many personal feelings were involved in this for people to see the big picture and get with it. You know what I'm saying? And it just, we talked about this earlier about Lisa being, used to being called the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
We gonna get into that later. We gonna get into that later. We gonna talk about that. So the next part, I feel like we kind of talked about some of these things now. Lisa's personality and work ethic, insights into her personality, work ethic, and how she managed her career. Stories that highlight Lisa's drive and creativity, unique approach to her work. I think you've answered that. Lisa's business acumen, discussing her business sense and her approach to manage her careers and finances. We basically talked about that. Your perspective on Lisa navigating the music industry and her entrepreneur ventures. Did you say? Did you have? Did you share your opinion about that already?
No, but could you repeat that question? I want to make sure I get it right.
It says Stephanie's perspective on how Lisa navigated the music industry and her entrepreneurial ventures, like your perspective on those.
The way she navigated the music industry, I think she followed a lot. Besides Supernova, I think she followed a lot of what she felt she was supposed to do. Like when she first started with TLC, she did what Pebbles felt they should do, which wasn't necessarily what she felt she should do. But she was just starting out. She, felt Pebbles knew what they should be doing, and she followed that. As she kept going on, she, had some concerns about some of the ways that they were presenting themselves. But again, she was listening to management. She was listening to, what her handlers were telling her was best. And she, raised some concerns, but the other group members felt it was the right thing to do. And so she coalesced. But then she really, really focused on, let's hurry up and get out of this commitment with TLC so I could do my own thing. I want to share my own voice. And she had some issues trying to get there. And that's kind of when Suge Knight came into the picture. And she then started following his advice because she didn't know how to get out of some things with her current situation and she needed some advice. So then she started following what he was telling her to do, So I think she navigated by following what she felt was the best advice at the time. And it worked for her somewhat, but she never got a chance to see where that was going to lead her. I think it frustrated her a lot. Like, I'll give you an example. When it was time to renegotiate the management contract with TLC, with their manager.
We was just talking about that.
This is what I was hitting on. Stephanie, go ahead, talk about it because
talk about it.
Stephanie, understand. Okay, so y'all not watching. Just know that this is tea that I had. Go ahead. I'll tell you after you share. I'll tell you what.
So
we already shared this. It's already out there. So just letting you know this. We know. Go ahead.
So TLC's manager is Bill Diggins.
Yes.
Bill Diggins also manages Chili personally, which clearly is a conflict of interest. Okay, because when choosing TLC projects, he can clearly choose the ones that are going to be in Rozonda's best interest.
Yeah.
Clearly. Lisa never was happy with that, and always voiced concerns about Bill being their manager. But he was outvoted, so it is what it is.
Oh.
He remained their manager. However, when that management contract expired and it was time to renegotiate, she voiced a concern about getting a new manager for the group because of that reason. Before she got a chance to, well, she had always voiced that she wanted to do that when the time was coming up. Before she got it, as the time approached, she didn't get a chance to kind of go there because she had already received a renegotiated contract for Bill because allegedly the other girls had already signed off and said they wanted to continue to have Bill as the manager without considering that she had a problem with it. And not only did that happen, but he had increased his percentage significantly. So she reached out to the other group members with her concerns and basically did not get her concerns justly considered. And one was saying, well, the other already agreed, and the other was saying, well, the other already agreed. And she was considered to be, well, you're holding up the process and you're being a troublemaker by not agreeing to this. So again, she didn't want to be seen as the one that was causing trouble. So again, she coalesced. She gave in, which was money out of her pocket. And again, she was being managed in the group by somebody she didn't agree with, she didn't care for managing her. So, you know, again, a business decision being made that she didn't agree with, and she felt she was gently forced to make, let's just say. So, yeah. I don't know if you call that navigating because she really didn't get to navigate. So sometimes, you know, those things happened in her career that she felt if she stood up and really fought for what she felt was right, she would be looked at as causing problems.
Yeah, the problem child.
So, you know.
No, you're good. Listen, because you know, when the Nova started, you know, we've been doing a lot of investigating. Especially them. They've been doing a lot of investigating. You know, I've done my research, and they've been like, you know, we're looking at that. Like India, she's looking at news articles. You got what was it? T and JoJo and Court looking at old TLC websites. And they found like the one article. Remember when the movie came out? You and Uncle Kyle did the interview. So they, you know, the audio was down. However, they found excerpts of it on Cyber TLC World. So I remember I had a moment where I was just like, I shared it on Twitter. That part talking about Bill, this moment, I shared it, and people were like, that he was fucking wrong as hell. Like, because the thing is I'm glad you shared that information because for a long time, a lot of us didn't understand why things were being, you know, painted the way it was. And knowing the stuff that we did in the movie came and it made it even more confusing. And
but do y'all think that's a conflict of interest?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so obvious to me. And they were making it seem like it's not a conflict. And I'm like, there's no way that should have happened. You should not be managing a group and then one individual in a group. That's a clear conflict.
Yeah. So that's a very, very, very clear conflict. It's just like, because like they made it seem like it was an issue with, you know, Marshall being around. I'm like, yeah, in hindsight, yes. But, but when it comes to him being a manager, I'd be sitting here and I was like, when did he come in as a manager? Because it makes me wonder if he came in as a manager when Bill became Chili's manager. It made me wonder. I'm like, what did she like? Oh, well, you got somebody close, you know, you got that, I got this. They kind of gave me that vibe, but I don't know if that's how it went down. But I just want to let you know we appreciate what you're doing, what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get the fact that, you know, if you when you say certain things, some people will respond a certain way. It's understood. It's understood. You know, it's like how much longer does thing have to, how much longer does these things have to fester for someone to be happy? Some people don't want it to come out ever.
And when the contract was sent to her, she wanted to take it to an attorney to look over. They were like, nope, it's got to be sent and signed and sent back today.
Yeah.
And it was probably that thick. She was so pissed off. But again, she was like, all right, I'll do it.
Uncle Kyle was talking about how much she hated him and wanted to replace him with Sade's manager. I remember that. I remember that.
Because T-Roz didn't even sign the contract yet. So that just pissed me off even more.
But they were like, oh, Tion's down. She said, yes, she's completely going to sign it. She's down for it and everything. And that was not the case.
Let's get to the next part. Bill will get us upset sometimes just thinking about it, but it's like you're doing what you believe is a form of business. We get it. It's just some things is just sorry.
I mean, the morale is wrong still.
We already talked about any challenges Lisa faces as a businesswoman and how she overcame them. Is there a different story you wanted to share? Because unfortunately in this situation we know she didn't overcome this one. But if there's anything else you wanted to share, or you know, I'm just saying. I know. It's just clear. Just like this one is not the moment. That's just like damn. Because people screwed her over a lot. It's just damn.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So challenges, memorable moments, discussion of any challenges Stephanie faced while working with Lisa and how they were able to overcome it. Like we kind of talked about. Is that symmetrical or like this memorable moment?
It broke up.
Okay, so discussion of any challenges you faced while working with Lisa and how you were able to overcome it together. Like I think we kind of talked about that, didn't we?
No, but I did have one time that she pissed me off severely, and we had to work through it. It may seem petty, but I understand why she did it. And it actually has one of the pictures on the slide that you sent me, but it was when she appeared on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We were like I told you, she was very much a loner. When she went to be on the show, it was just she and I. And when she was getting makeup, her publicist, Matt Shelton, was with us. And she was getting we were in a holding room right before she was getting makeup done. And the producers of the show came in and they were talking to us. And I was a fan of the show. I love the show. And they were talking to us and I was telling them how much they loved the show and how much I love the show. And they were like, oh, that's awesome. That's great. Da, 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 da. And they asked Lisa, who did she bring to be in the audience? And she hadn't brought anybody. I don't even think she had thought about bringing anybody. And they were like, oh, okay, well, you know what? We're going to put Stephanie in the audience because she's such a fan of the show. This will be great. This will be a great talking point, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. I love this show. I can't wait. And they were like, this is going to be awesome. And they were putting her in makeup and They were getting me backstage, getting ready to put me in the audience. And then Matt Sheldon came out there and he's like, he's from London, so he talks with an accent. He's like, Stephanie, I can't do the accent, but he's like, Stephanie, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're not going to be in the audience anymore. And I was like, why? And he said, Lisa wants to put a teddy bear in the audience chair instead. I was like, what the hell? What do you mean? And she wants her get back.
Go ahead.
She wants a teddy bear to be her guest that she brought and put in the chair. I'm like, I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. What do you mean? She wants a teddy bear to be the guest. Like, I don't understand what you're saying.
You.
And he was like, I know, Stephanie, I don't know what to say, but she wants a teddy bear to be a guest. And I was so pissed off. And I felt like she was doing it just to spite me because I was such a fan of the show and they were just talking about how excited they were to have me on the show. And I got pissed off and I said, Matt, put me on a plane now. I am leaving. And we were in New York filming and he's like, you're going back to Atlanta? I was like, no, I'm going home to my mom. I quit. And he put me on a plane to Pennsylvania and I was going to quit that day because I was so angry that she did that. And as soon as the show was over, she started blowing up my phone. And I was like, I am not talking to her. And I would not answer the phone for like 2 days.
God damn.
So bad. And I've never even watched the show to this day. I've never watched that episode.
Wow.
I was so angry at her. But eventually it was so funny. I said, tell her my mom was sick and I had to leave or something, but I'm leaving. He was like, are you coming back? I was like, I don't know right now. Just don't talk to me and put me on a plane. And I left. And she started blowing up my phone and I would not answer. And my mom kept saying, are you going to pick up the phone? I was like, hell no. Tell her Teddy to pick up the phone. Finally, she wouldn't leave me a message. And then finally she left me a message. She was like, Steph, how's your mom doing? I was lying. And eventually I was like, oh my God, I can't quit my job. I work for Left Eye. Like, this is crazy. And so we had to, obviously work through it. And I found out that she was trying to like do some type of message about helping her, a child that she was trying to help. And she was trying to make a point, and I get that, but
yeah.
I didn't know that at the time. So we had to, work through it. But she was very good for that. She would have a last minute idea and she would switch up the whole plan. And Lisa was good for that because she was so creative and ideas would come to her, just like that. And she would act upon it. So, I got it after the fact, but I was very pissed off at the moment. And, we had to work through that. And, when I eventually did come back, we just kind of looked at each other and smiled and never talked about it ever, ever, ever. And she knew I was angry and, we just kind of had an understanding and often, well, we never really fell out or anything, but if we did have a disagreement and one of us rubbed each other the wrong way, we just kind of respected each other and would kind of look at each other with the, like, I know where you was coming from, girl, but we cool. We cool. Because she never wanted to be confrontational, so she never wanted to have that conversation. But we would be cool, so we would have that acknowledgement, like, all right. And that was her way of working it out, and that worked for me too. Because I don't want to have it out with Left Eye. Like, that's not on my agenda. You know what I mean? So it worked for me. And that was the way that we would work it out.
Right. I'm glad y'all got a system. That was wild. Cause
Honey,
I get it. No, I get why you were saying like that was a moment. Like,
I was like, so I'm not good enough? What? A teddy bear? What?
He was like, "Oh no, she didn't."
Exactly what I said.
Oh no,
Yeah,
she
why
Exactly.
they say that? They said the teddy bear was given to. Oh, they said the teddy bear set that tone, and so the tone.
oh.
but
That's my
yeah.
girl. I fessed that up to Wanda too. I said I've only lied to Lisa twice, and that was one of the times I admitted that to Wanda. She was laughing.
Mm. Okay, so I'm looking at this one picture based Q&A for Fed on asking. I might.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm just reviewing what we have to make sure I'm not repeating myself.
Okay.
Because it goes into the next part, which is and there's no questions fans haven't asked that are listed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like introduce the idea of asking questions. Fans aren't asking
There's one
themselves.
question from the audience if you want to pull that.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Can you tell us a story when you and Lisa pranked Black?
Mm-hmm.
No, Black pranked us. Black, honey, child.
That was
We
the first.
we were
Oh, they got her back.
we I don't know what they're talking about as far as Lisa pranked Black, but I know when they pranked us, she and I had just gotten back from New York late, and we stopped. Lisa had purchased a house that was right behind her house and made that a studio and a residential studio where people could rent out and stay there and blah blah blah. So Black, when they were recording their demo, they stayed there and recorded there.
Mm-hmm.
So we had flown back into town one night. It was really late, and it was maybe about midnight. And we stopped there first to see how they were doing. And we checked in on them. We probably stayed there a couple of hours, and it might have been 2 o'clock in the morning when we left that studio, went right behind to Lisa's house. And she and I were in the kitchen talking about business, about the schedule for the next day. And then all of a sudden, there was a knock at the door. It is probably 3 o'clock in the morning now. And I went to answer the door, and it was a man with a hat on. And Lisa's like, who's at the door? Because when the doorbell rang, we were both like, who the hell is at the door at 3 o'clock in the morning? And so I went and I looked at the peephole, and it was a man. And she was like, who is it? And I was like, some man at the door. And I was like, who is it? And he was like, is Lisa here? And I was like, who are you? And he was like, man, tell Lisa to come to the door. There's going to be problems. And I was like, Lisa, are you expensive? You're talking about if you don't come to the door, there's going to be problems. And she was like, I'm not expecting anybody. What you mean there's going to be problems? I was like, don't know. They're asking for you. And she said, I know who it is. And I was like, well, what is your name? And he said some name, Michael or whatever. It's Michael. Tell Lisa she better get her ass out here right now. I'm like, Lisa, I don't know who this is, but this dude is saying you need to get your ass out of here right now. And then Lisa comes and she's peeking all through the blinds like this, trying to see who it is. And she's like, I don't know who that is. And then this guy is like threatening to do stuff to Lisa, like hurt her little gangsta ass. Opens up the door. What? And the guy backs up, and then we hear in the yard, like him and Lisa are getting ready to fight. And then we just hear all this laughing, and it's the rest of Black. And turns out it was Sophia Gibson dressed as a dude with like a hat on, pulled down, and the rest of the black are in the bushes, cracking up laughing, and like they just couldn't hold it in. But me and Lisa were like scared, and Lisa's ready to knock up with this dude in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh my God, you cannot fight a strange man in the middle of the night. But that's Lisa. She's no punk, and she's gonna ride. She was like, you're not gonna come to my house in the middle of the night threatening me. What's up? Like, yeah.
She was in the back of the bully.
Yeah, she's a rider.
She's 5 feet tall, and she's like, you can come to my house, see what's up.
Mm-hmm. If you don't know who Sophia Gibson is, she's a member of Egypt. So, but the story about Black that they're talking about is this infamous, not infamous really, but like a story that's very popular when it comes to her pranks. That apparently Black and some boy group were like together at one point in Lisa's house, and they decided to prank her. No, like she decided to prank them. Her, Trinae, Silhouette, a bunch of people pretending to be, like a heist. Like,
excuse me. I'm so sorry. I meant Egypt. Did I say Black? Sorry, I meant Egypt.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Prank Lisa.
I'm not familiar with the Black prank.
Okay. Well, with the Black prank, there was like they were in the house with this boy group, and Lisa orchestrated a fake heist and had people pretending to be like break into our house and like force them to do whatever crazy stuff and terrorize them and scare them, make them cry and everything. And then Trinae and what's her name? Tamara Gray from Silhouette came out of somewhere, and so did Lisa, and they got you.
They play too much with the violent crimes. That's not fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot. That's a lot. Like I was like, oh my God. Like, and the thing is that what made them so is that they told Trinae last minute because she was in the house with them, and she's like, pretend we got your. And that's what she did. She pretended they got her. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Not funny. No.
It was crazy. It was not. It was intense. I'm like, I don't know how I would feel. It's like hearing it is something else, but like in that moment, that was me. I'd be pissed.
I don't play like that. I couldn't.
In the prank they did on us, I thought it was going to die and be a news story like crazed fan kills superstar and the system alone. Mm-hmm. That's not funny at all.
Okay, so one of them is like explore deeper themes. Ask Stephanie to share stories and details about Lisa's lesser known business ventures, negotiations, and decisions. We may have mentioned into that earlier, did we?
Her lesser known business ventures. I don't know. What was she doing? She was doing. I think everybody knows about all her business ventures. She was doing the Chef Die Show. She was doing clothing line. People didn't know about the comic book she was trying to start. She was getting ready to work on a book that. Can't talk too much about this, but she was getting ready to work on a book that told two stories.
Open?
Yes. Yes, it was a book that told two stories. One part of it told a fictional story about her in a fairy tale land living in the forest with the animals, because that's always how she wanted to live her life. And the other side of the book was going to be an autobiographical, for real book. And they were in the middle. She was just starting to work on that. before she passed. She was just starting to work on a children's book before she passed. Um, she, what else? She was mainly focused on her solo project at that time, other than creating the cooking show, writing the book, the biographical book, and the children's book. Um, Other than that, um, she was just thinking of different things to branch off with Ionetics, with the website. Um, that's what she was focusing on.
Did you want to? Can you talk more about Chef's Eye? Like, what was the correct? Like the what was? Because I didn't know until today. Apparently, that the kitchen she had was designed for the show.
Right.
So it's like, yeah.
She likened it a lot to the Pee Wee Herman show. How the characters were all in his home. She had dressed the appliances like characters. Like the toaster was a character, and the blender was a character, and the refrigerator was a character, and all of these characters would be who she was working with in the kitchen when she was cooking these dishes. So she wouldn't have like a sous chef or a partner in the kitchen. It would just be her and these um, animated kitchen appliances that would be helping her in the kitchen. And it would all be very healthy dishes. And she wanted them to be very simple recipes that kids could make after school. But she wanted to start kids young eating healthy. So it had to be it was very important that it was simple to make and safe for kids to make at home on their own. So it would be very, very easy to make, not a lot of cooking involved, not so much cutting, like with knives and things like that, but something very simple. And she wanted it to be very fun, and she would be having conversations with the animated appliances where she could drop little healthy nuggets as she was cooking, like Mr. Toaster, I can't remember the name she had for the appliances, but Teddy Toaster, when you're eating bread, you know that it's healthier if you eat whole grain bread, because grains do this, this, and this to your body, that kind of a thing. Betty Blender, that when you are fasting, part of fasting is not chewing your food and having it already broken down for you in a juice-like texture. So you can take these fruits and you can blend them in, and you can still drink and have your nutrients and your vitamins, those types of things. So she wanted it to be very nutritionally educational, plus showing them visually how to cook it and giving them recipes at the same time. So it was but she wanted it to be very much like Pee Wee Herman was talking to his animated furniture and things like that, if you could picture it. So she actually had appliances dressed up in her kitchen to use as props to pitch the idea. And it's quite funny when you walk in her kitchen. She had a huge island in the middle where she had all of the appliances. She would like do test runs and everything. It was very cute. It would be a total smash. I'm sure like Nickelodeon and Noggin would have picked it up.
Yeah.
Now,
It definitely would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was I remember someone who was a part of the filming crew that when y'all was in Honduras, he was filming at Lisa's home before y'all left.
I'm sorry. Can we not talk about him?
So this person had okay.
He's off limits.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, but we've seen some of the things she was working with, and I thought it was cool. The gadgets were amazing, and I want to see the stuff in the kitchen. Like apparently, I think did Rita and Ronald say earlier that apparently the recipes. You know what I'm saying? Like they're posting them recipes. Like apparently she would send like characters off to different planets or something like that to get recipes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mhm. Yes, that would be how she would get them. There's not much more to expound on that, but that's how she would get them. I don't know if she worked out really like where they would go to get them, but that's how they would fly in and give them
That's
to her.
neat.
Of course, she always wanted to do something out of this world. Hence, Ionetics.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I wish we could get like more like footage from like that from that website because it's like we missed that so
Yeah,
bad.
there was
So
so
bad.
much she was going to do with that thing. It like the sketches and the
Mm-hmm.
whiteboards and things that she did for plans that she had for that thing was just never ending. She was going to just continue to expand it. And it was all going to be interactive with all the fans.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like oh, she was phenomenal. She was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, hmm?
I'm sorry about the whole thing with that but there's some bad juju there.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
I,
By all means.
as
Totally
a split,
understand.
I think yeah, there's some bad juju. I believe it. And then to respect that, we're gonna move on to the next thing. So we're gonna go right to the picture-based discussion. Are you ready? All right. So let me pull up these slides. Court or Andy, do you want to like do like this? Someone asked the question. Oh, I can see it. Never mind. I see it. Um, someone asked, what is your? Why would you ask?
Ah, I said the same thing when I read it.
I was like,
So
We already know. I already know. You don't have to explain yourself. We were. I think we're in the same headspace.
all four of us.
Honestly, like fans were shocked. Oh, cause listen, we be on Twitter talking, uh-huh,
If you
and
want
like
to see us
sharing our
talk
opinion,
for real,
huh?
I said if you want to see us talk for real, our actual opinions, go on
Hmm.
Twitter.
Yeah,
We be
because
airing it out.
oh, I be sitting here annoyed. I be sitting here like, we were talking. I was talking about how much I don't like the movie. We're like, you don't like the movie? I'm like, do you not know? Come to my page. Come here. Come here. Look at these threads I've made. Look at all these posts I got. And people be like, wow, I really didn't know a lot of stuff. At least I'm like, I don't know what to tell you besides keep your eyes on what's going on. Because like yeah, INS was ahead of its time. Like that website was incredible. Like it looked incredible and excuse me. I've heard so many great stories about that website. So many great stories. Was it a challenge juggling her personal life being Lisa's personal assistant, or was there a balance? Excuse me.
Yes, it was very much a challenge in her personal life because she's a creative. So anything could pop up at any moment and you just had to roll with it. And as a personal assistant, you can't say no. You just can't say no. So you might work a 12-hour day and get ready to walk out of the door. And then she's like, I want to go do a 12-hour session at the studio right now. And you just have to go. So your personal life is gone. And so it's interesting. So, you still have to make sure that her other things that she's responsible for are taken care of. And, you just have to find a way to work that out and make sure things get done. So, yeah, it was a challenge.
We'll get to Angie when we get to the slide. What was?
oh, God.
Oh, okay. What was the one thing you wish people knew about Lisa that most don't know?
I'll tell you what, Lisa, most people know that Lisa was very generous and that she always helped people. But what people don't know is that when she was constantly paying people's bills, taking care of them, and whatnot. But when she had spent up all her money and was waiting for her advance for her solo project, and she was down to like having very little money and was very concerned with how she was going to take care of herself. You know, she had those long conversations with me about what am I going to do, and I told her, what you need to do is call these people that have asked you for money and said, oh, let me borrow $10,000, let me borrow $5,000, let me borrow $1,000, you know, and tell them you need your money back. And she was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I was like, why? They asked you for the money, claiming it was for a loan. You need your money back. Ask them for the money. She did not want to do that, but she actually did not know how she was going to pay her bills because that's how tight money was. I made her sit down and give me a list of the people that owed her money, and it was easily $1 million. I called everybody up, and you know, every single person acted like I was offending them, asking for the loan money back, and not a single person helped her. Not a one.
I know Helper Andre had to put a hurting in her pocket. Oh my God! When Wanda said that she helped them to help pay that man's back child support, and she was like, what was like? I don't know. I mean, gonna talk the number. I don't remember, but it was a lot of money, and I'm just like, whoo. This is, you know, I try to be transparent and real because people, when they get in this fan culture, they get delusional and they act like cult fans and they don't know how to actually think for themselves anymore or actually have common sense. So with me, if I do not stand behind what my fave does, I'ma say I don't stand behind it. And that's something I just couldn't stand by. And I'm like, Wanda, I'm right there with you, girl. Because she was not happy about that either. I'm like, I'm right there with you, girl. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah. We can, what's up? Oh, thank you for sharing that, Stephanie. It's a real lesson to be learned from that. Yes.
It's so crazy because not only did they not want to give the money back, but they knew she was in a tight spot and didn't want to help her.
Yep.
And that hurt her. Like that hurt her.
It's the blue freeze. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Well, at least she got to see people, you know, if she didn't already see their true colors and knew, you know, and try to figure out what to do next. Because that's the plan. These people ain't gonna give you your money. Okay, what do you do next? You taking a court or you just gonna give this up? Like it's like, I don't know. But I'm glad she stopped messing with Andre like that. After that, like tried not to anymore. Tried.
Honey?
We can get right to the slide.
Yes, please do.
So here are the photo insights, and this is the first slide. The mobile awards and stuff. Because I wasn't sure if he was gonna bring it up. So I was like, here we go. But okay.
Yes, sir.
Since we talked about on the way there, how was it when you got there?
To the Mobile Awards?
Yeah.
I did not go to the Mobile Awards. I was just starting with her, so she went solo on that one. But I heard it was fantastic.
Oh, wow.
I did not go to that one. But
Okay.
she is wearing that little black outfit. I know that. I'd be scared it would move over to the side. I
Oh,
remember seeing that little thing in her closet too. Ooh, honey.
so like,
Look, and I could not figure out how that was supposed to be worn, and now I see it.
yep, there you go. There you go.
You're like, how you put this on?
But I know she really loved it over there. She felt really appreciated over there. And she was very happy to be hosting. She liked hosting events and she wanted to get more into it. So I know that was a real highlight for her.
All right. So let's go on to the next slide. We thought about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire already.
Honey,
I know we can move to the next one. We can move to the next one.
look, that might be the most I've ever seen of that show was those two slides.
Ah!
Look, that one on the left might be like, she might be thinking in her head right now, I cannot believe she left. I cannot believe this girl left. That's probably what she's thinking.
And she was. Hey, you showed the teddy bear. All
I don't
right.
understand. That's my girl. Like, if I could have a conversation with her now and talk about that, we'd probably be cracking up.
Oh, what was it? So here's the next one, the open photo shoot. Do you remember being, on set of this or preparing for it, or
Yeah. That picture of her in Hype, that was the supermercado we used to always go to in Honduras to do our grocery shopping. It is a very rundown grocery store. It's pretty sad. It's not like a grocery store that, well, I mean, it is like a grocery store that we would go to, but like the produce is not very, very good. Some of the fruits are like rotten. It's pretty sad. It's a third world country, so you could imagine. But she's very optimistic when she goes there, and she knows how to pick out the good stuff. And she was actually teaching Hype how to pick out the good stuff when grocery shopping there. So again, a teaching moment. The picture with her with the pajamas on, she loved those pajamas. She picked those are little monkeys on her pajamas. She specifically picked those out. She wanted to do a specific scene with her in that hut. Excuse me, that hut that she was in is actually, the huts on the property at Usha are rented out to two different people, but she had her own hut there. That was specifically for her. So she, painted it how she wanted, and she had her own personal things in there, and that was her bathroom there. And she loved that hut. She was doing a little bathroom scene there of her getting ready for bed, but don't get it twisted. She did not wear those at night because it was way too hot. That was strictly for the photo shoot. The one there on the bottom, that was at the top of a mountain that we climbed up. That was very near to the village that we stayed, and she had specifically pictured this shot that she wanted. That jewelry that we got actually was from a jewelry store in Stone Mountain Village by where we lived. She had pictured everything she wanted. She pictured the scarf, she pictured the jewelry she wanted to wear, she pictured the feathers and everything. And that's exactly how she wanted that picture to turn out, and it came out perfectly. The middle picture there, I think she had an idea of wanting to do the water and the flowing greens behind her, but when she was up on the rock, She was just walking around, and hype actually caught her in that pose. That wasn't a specific pose,
Mm.
but
Wow.
he caught her looking down where she was walking, and it just came out beautiful.
Ooh.
Um, that top right picture, that was another one that she imagined with the whole jewelry. That's another piece of jewelry we got in Stone Mountain Village because she had imagined what it would be. And that's actually at the front part of the property of Usha Village. She wanted the mountains in the background, and you can barely see the huts in the background of where we stayed. So I was right at the front of the property. She did headshots of that, and then some body shots where you can kind of see semi-nude
Mm-hmm.
below. And that bottom part, that's in actually the kitchen of the village where we stayed. And she was actually preparing some food when they were taking that picture. So yeah.
All right.
Wow. The context.
Yeah. Because like the picture in the middle, the green one,
Mhm.
that picture, whenever I remember Uncle Kyle saying that it looked like, when you're in the jungle, it looked like a Disney movie.
Yes.
And this
And that's
picture,
exactly what it looks like in person, in real life. It's beautiful like that.
Wow.
oh my gosh. And then I really wish she got to able to finish that book and show us exactly everything she wanted to show us, how she wanted to show it. Because it's like, how would the fairy tale and the autobiography come together using these photos?
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been a work of art.
We can let me know when you're ready to go to the next slide.
I'm good.
All right. The 2001 photo shoots. I remember the picture on the left. You told us about that one where if you want to talk about it, you can you go
I
ahead.
remember that one. We were at a hotel in New York. I can't remember the name of the hotel, and we were out on the balcony, and they were doing some shots up there. And she scared me to death being up there on that ledge. Yeah, I'll be all right. I'm cool. I'm being so scared, And she just, she's always so calm, like nothing's,
Mm-hmm.
you cool. It's all good, And she just was doing some weird, crazy stuff, and they got some great shots up there. But she took a bunch of shots on the ledge. That one came out really good. I don't think I've ever seen that one before, but I remember her being up there posing. That's a very good shot.
Yeah.
This other one,
In the
I'm
middle.
not sure where that was taken, but that's usually the kind of stuff that she would wear on a daily basis. So that looks just like a casual shot that somebody caught.
So the context I have about where it came from is apparently she was in Usha Village when Supernova came out, and she was with Mimi for Vibe magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, from my understanding, that's where the photo came from. It was, like she was in Usha Village and completing her 40-day fast, and she was being interviewed by Mimi.
If she was in Honduras with Mimi, she hadn't done the fast yet. Because I set up the travel for Mimi. It's funny, I actually sent it to the wrong city. Long story. But Lisa didn't do the fast until a couple months before she passed, and Mimi had gone there prior to a while. But that would have been actually in 2000, I think.
That was
Or no, late 2001. Late 2001. But Lisa didn't do the 40-day fast until the first part of 2002. It was shortly before we went to Honduras.
well. To help with the timing of it, Lisa said on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire that she was on the 40-day fast. And that was
I
like
don't,
July
I don't
2001.
think I don't think she completed that, or she did a different fast. The one where she lost all the weight
Yeah.
was at the beginning of 2002, where she was looking
Mm.
really, really thin and people were talking. That was at the beginning of 2002. So maybe it was a different fast.
Mm.
Maybe it was a different fast because I know when Mimi went to Honduras, I was supposed to make the arrangements for her,
Yeah.
and you have to fly into you have to go into San. Lisa always said that when she went to Honduras, she went to San Pedro Sula, and I was telling Mimi that's where she needs to fly, but Lisa hadn't told me there's another leg to the travel to go to La Ceiba, and I had didn't know that Mimi had to go another leg. And when she called me, she called me from San Pedro Sula, Mimi, and she was like, "Okay, how do I get to Usha?" And I didn't know she had to go to a whole other part of Honduras. So I
Oh,
know in 2002 I had already been to Honduras a couple times, so I was well versed in, where to go.
all
But
right. Well,
that last picture, I believe that was done with Suge's photo shoot. I don't remember anything about that, but that looks like the look that she had when she was with Thoreau, and I wasn't with her out in LA much at that time, right before we went to Honduras.
well, this was actually a Jerome Albertini photo shoot. It was actually dated for 2001.
Oh,
Um, like before, huh?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay. So she, because I wasn't sure if you were here. Apparently, there's a story. This was when she was promoting Supernova. Apparently, there's a story about her posing outside, looking like this or something like that during the shoot, and a motorcyclist was driving and he hit another vehicle because he saw her. Like,
That's hilarious. I don't know how I wouldn't know about that one, but I'm not familiar with that one.
all right, we'll go to the next one then.
Mhm.
The Block Party music video.
Yes, Block Party. She she liked that video, but it did not come out how she wanted it to come out.
Mm,
But she liked it though. She liked it.
mm.
I don't know what that is she has in her hand.
With a notepad.
Uh,
I don't know what was on it or anything, but it was the pad she was writing on or something.
I've seen this picture.
yeah, she that was a fun shoot, but she was not happy with some of the aspects. Some of the costumes didn't come out how they were supposed to, and
Mm-hmm.
she's such a perfectionist. If the slightest thing is off, it throws off like her whole vibe. So some things weren't right, but it was still cool.
I was just jamming to it yesterday or this morning. One of them days, like I was just like going. I see the imperfections. I see it, but I see what she was trying to do too.
Yeah, I see the vision.
Yeah,
Um, Let me know when you're ready to go to the next.
I'm ready.
The Supernova cover shoot.
Woo! That girl right there, boy.
Any memories that you would like to share?
Well, I know the first one, she, Supernova was very personal. Obviously, we all know that. And, the whole shape, it's called a dodecahedron. And it had the 12 sides to it with the 12 tracks. And she felt that each one of the sides represented a part of her. And she was in the middle of it. So it was very important for her to take a picture inside of the dodecahedron. And that was a difficult shot to pull off, but it was successful.
Yeah.
So that was a very important shot for her to make. Her legs look shiny in that shot. got some baby oil on. She was actually dancing to Block Party when she took that picture. Her abs,
Oh,
but she looks very cute in that picture. The third picture, I know it was a challenge to get all those candles lit. I know that. I know that it was a challenge to get the shot right because of the glare of the candles. So it was a challenge, but it came out beautiful. She didn't want to look like a kid in that photo. It was very important for her not to look like a kid in that photo.
Mm.
The last one, I remember her going back and forth on whether she wanted that to be the cover photo for the album, but she ended up going for that. But that first and third picture, those are gorgeous.
I love those pictures a lot. You seen me where I rocking one of the shots from the first one, from the first part of the shoot. Like,
That is gorgeous.
and it seemed like she was rotating that ball around, because there's another shot that's now my profile picture on Instagram and other platforms where it seemed like the ball rotated and now she's standing on the pillar, I guess, that she's sitting on, and she's like got her hands on the side. I don't have it in here, but like it looked like the ball rotating, and y'all played with it different ways.
Let me tell you something. She had such a difficult time finding a company that could make a dodecahedron that could fold and fit into the CD and then could come out and then actually expand and fold together and come into the shape. She spent months trying to find somebody to do that, but it was so important for her to make that happen, and she made it happen.
Yeah, I've seen them different mock-ups of it. Like there was so many different mock-ups, and I was just like, wow. I'll be wondering sometimes like which one was the actual model that she was actually going to put in CDs. Um,
And again, she's like, F it, I'll just do it myself. And then she actually made one and taped it together so that she could show different companies what it was supposed to look like.
Was it was it like a purple one with gold sides?
What? Say one more time.
Was it like a purple one with gold sides?
It was gray. It was like it was the same color of. She used our company stationery to do it, and it was like a marble gray, with black writing.
I think we saw that at the Fan Expo. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That was definitely her stationery on that. Yep. The Wish record stationery. Yep.
All right. Let me know when you're ready to go to the next slide.
Proceed.
All right. The recording process of the album. Do you have any memories or any,
I remember, I remember a lot. I remember being in the studio with Rottweiler doing Hot. He was cool. I remember her writing a lot in her own studio, like just playing tracks and writing to it. I missed the whole A New Star Is Born because like Carl was saying, it hit her at a certain time and she wanted to record it at that time, and I wasn't with her at that time, so I missed that. One, I remember going to a Feeney's house and listening to Pac's some Pac's stuff, and then she got to take the rest home to listen to and pick what she wanted. And I was just like bugged out, like, oh my God, like Pac's ashes are like 3 feet from me, and I was having a heart attack because I'm such a fan. And she was so kind to us, and that bugged me out. And she she was very connected to Pac, so it was very special for her, you know, to have access to that. Universal Quest was very special because she actually wanted to do a song with Madonna, and it wasn't working out. And I had suggested Estero to her, and she had never heard Estero before. And I brought in Estero's album for her to listen to, and she was like, I like her, and I want to make this happen. And you know, the powers that be, her camp got with Lisa's camp, and they said they liked each other and they wanted to make it happen. And they got into the studio together and vibed out and wrote it. And it just became phenomenal. And that was so special to me because I feel like they connected because they were supposed to create something beautiful and powerful. And what they wrote about was really special to me. And I remember when they were in the studio, they just really vibed out, and they wrote it quick and they recorded it quick. She was only there for a couple days and they wrote it and recorded it, which is pretty fast. I remember when she was doing the song Jenny with Jazzy Faye, she actually had the alarm clock in the studio with her. Had that going off because that always got her in the vibe for the song, which that song, the stuff she says in that song is very much how she would normally talk. Is very much her personality in that song. But other than that, I just remember her really, really into her writing. She would constantly have her headphones on, writing all the time because she felt it was her time to showcase what she really wanted to write about and not what the record company wanted her to write about. So it was very special to her.
Do you remember when she was recording with Prince, or do you? I think that was before you got there, right?
That was before me. And God dog it, one time he came into town and wanted to meet her. And, you know, since I was driving her everywhere, I got to drive her to the hotel. And I was like, this is my chance. I get to meet Prince. And she was like, all right, you can drop me off here. I'll call you when I'm done. So they didn't work on anything creatively when I was with her. I just missed that opportunity, but they were friends, and you know, he did want to spend time with her when he was.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, the Universal Quest, that's my favorite song in the album. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. I love that song so much.
I love that song. Love it.
Oh, that song, Let Me Live, is a real good song too. That's a good song. Like, do you know the process of like what happened with that one? Like how that came about?
I don't. I just know that she always wanted a different sound, not something that you could turn on the radio and listen to. She wanted it to sound different, and she wanted to express how she felt about it. You know, how she felt about things and what she was living and what she was experiencing, but not too much more than that.
Yeah, like it made me think of I Believe in Me, where I had yesterday. I always looked at the credits of Supernova, and I was really wanting to go about the sampling. And then one day I was going to Genius looking at credits, and I just seen that she sampled Al Green in this. I'm like, you sampled Al Green in this song? I listened to the original song. I'm like, yeah, this sounds just like the Al Green song. This sounds just like the Al Green song. Ooh.
Yeah. She had an old soul. The song she did with Andre Rison was an old remake.
It was a what?
It's a remake. Mm-hmm. No, not Rags to Riches. It was or a song she wanted to do with Andre. It was Oh gosh, what was it called? I can't think of what it was right now, but there was an old '70s song that her and Andre always wanted to do together. And I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't think of what the name of the song.
I didn't know about that.
That's
Okay.
cool.
They always that's how he ended up getting on the album. Is she always said that whenever she did her solo album, they were going to do that song together. And she reached out and said she was doing it, and told them it was time for them to record the song together. But they ended up doing Rags to Riches.
We were talking about that song earlier. Love that song, but same time Andre screaming always gets on my nerves.
Rags to riches.
Like, sure, pal. Okay, I'm gonna stop. So I'll be talking. I'm gonna stop. Good song. But you learn a lot. But with these songs, you learn a lot about Lisa. You learn a lot about her, and I feel like it's always a slap in the face when people talk trash about it. I'm like, you act like you talking trash about the album to me. Makes it seem like you're talking trash about her because this is personal. This is not some I just want to make a cute little hot pocket record, just to fulfill your certain little needs. No, this is like it is to fulfill your needs, but it's to give you something more in depth to take with you throughout your entire life, not just this is something warm and hot for you just until I make the real thing. No, this is the real thing.
I always thought she should have made Hot her first single because her raps were always just like features or snippets, and she never got a chance to do like a whole song to talk about her skills, and she talked shit in that verse.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And rightfully so. And I first got her flowers, and I was like, you should make a video, and at the beginning where that siren's going off, you should have some combat boots, and you should be running up the steps to the top, and you get to the top on a top of a roof, and then you just come hard with it and just start spitting and just be like, "Burn!" And she was like, I don't know if I can do that. And I was like, be aggressive with it. You know what I mean? Like, this is your time to like show your skills, like for the whole song.
That was it. Uncle Kyle, remember Uncle Kyle talking about how it was so much of like an idea he had in his mind for like that was like Crazy in Love, ended up being like what he was thinking too. And I see all of that. It's like, Lisa, you have been holding it in for a long time. I really wish I was alive, but I really wish I was who I am now to actually like Lisa, they have been doing you dirty. Use this song to talk your shit.
I wanted her to do that so bad.
What'd you say?
I wanted her to do that so bad. Just
here's the funny thing. Timbra, she's actually one of our Novas. And she said she actually found an old article buried somewhere in an old abandoned website where Lisa did this interview, and she mentioned now she wanted Hot to be the first single.
Yes. I might have got to her. I promise you, I was in her ear 24/7. Hot's the one. I'm telling you, Hot's the one. Come out and talk your shit because you deserve it. You deserve it.
What happened? If you can share.
Nobody was feeling it being the first single. I think I was the only one saying it.
Uncle Kyle was saying it should be the first single too. What?
Well, me and Uncle Kyle.
God damn.
Everybody else was
mad. Everybody's like,
I'm telling you, I was like with a Hot single because nobody expects you to come out talking mess. I'm telling you.
It would have shook people up. It would have shook people up. That's the thing.
Exactly.
She was lacking people left to right in that song.
She probably was talking about the people that was saying nah in that song. This is frustrating. Well, I'll tell you, girl.
I'm glad y'all feel me.
No, yeah, we
I always felt you. Because I'm like, I feel like if I decide to talk to her, we're gonna be like this. What are we right now? And you keep it real. You don't be sugarcoat, and you be trying to be, try to be level. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when it's called for, and you were saying that about Lisa. Lisa, this is called for. Talk your shit. Woo! Ooh, I tell you, child.
And then being in the studio with Rottweiler making it, and he has you all hyping there and everything, and he's all gigantic.
You was on the song too. You was on the song. You were on the song. I saw the credits. I sent the credits. Stephanie P. Stephanie P. I sent you in the credits. You did a great job. Don't be ashamed. You did a great job. That's another reason why I should have been a single. People hear your effort vocally. You did a great job. Like Ronald was reciting his part earlier, and I was like, I didn't even know that was you. Like, okay. I came in, y'all set fire to the rain. Y'all did a great job. They did a great job. What other songs? Because I listen, we don't get fed like this about Supernova often. So, and this is the weekend. So I kind of want to soak this in, if you don't mind, before we move on to the next slide. Because Breathe. Do you remember the making of that?
It's all, a lot of it blurs together for me because there was just months of writing and being in the studio, months and months of writing and being in the studio. So it's hard for me to differentiate.
That's fine.
Because it was work. You know what I mean? It was,
yeah, just getting it
was
done.
Work. And to me, like when you say a particular song, that spans over so much for me because she might have been writing Breathe 6 different times we were in the studio. You know what I mean? And recording a verse on one day and then a different verse on another day. You know what I mean? So it all blurs together to me. So I can't remember specific things about specific times because she recorded some in Atlanta, but I specifically remember Hot because we flew to New York and were there for a period of a couple of days to record that specific song. You know what I mean? So there's certain things I remember, and I remember Estero because I was specifically involved in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she was there in town for just a couple of days. So there's certain songs I specifically remember details about, and a lot of things just a blur.
Yeah, like probably this song with Carl Thomas, with Black, True Confessions. I don't know, like we try to grab different stuff. We jump in. But we can go to the next one if you want to go to the next one, if that's the sign. All right. 3D, recording 3D. What memories do you have of Lisa being in the studio for this album?
Oh gosh. Whoa.
Okay, this wasn't supposed to bring this reaction, but like just Lisa, we could just talk about Lisa and like how excited, the concept of the album. Do you remember her talking about the concept of the album with you? Like, it's gonna be called 3D and this is what's gonna be the ideas.
Okay.
We can go to the next slide if need be.
This was being recorded right around the time that the whole contract situation happened.
Okay.
So there was some let's get this done so we can move on. Because I really would like to use my voice in my own space. So there wasn't a lot of working together. It was a lot of working apart and just tell me where I need to be and let's get it done,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Um, yeah.
I heard that. Did you want to go ahead?
Tion's great.
We can go to the next slide. We can go to the next slide. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right, boom.
All she did was confirm what I was already saying. That's all I gotta say.
All right, so the anniversary. Do you remember this day? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, the anniversary was a great night.
Okay.
It was, I thought the performance was amazing. Leading up to that performance, you know, the rehearsals and, you know, the girls spending time together was great. They did a great performance. Afterwards, I think Lisa did a quick interview with MTV, and she was really tired that night. She ended up leaving. She had a condo in Jersey, right across the river. And she ended up telling me she was going home, and she gave me the night off. And I had a backstage all-inclusive pass, and she gave me hers. And I called my homeboy, and we had the time of our lives at MTV.
Yeah, good.
That is, so she didn't really kick it afterwards. She came and did her performance, and then she bounced that night. Yeah, but everybody was there. Everybody loved the performance. She had a good time that night, but then she cut the night short. And what else is there?
And we could that's the red carpet. What she wanted to do, she walked the red carpet.
Yes, she did. Her and the girls did.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't. We only seen her. I didn't know T.
Oh, I thought they walked together. I love those outfits too.
Right.
I love those outfits.
We
But
keep
that
wondering.
was when she was doing the 40-day fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is when she was doing that. But that was a great, great, great night. She look how thin she was in that last picture. She took that fast seriously. She had a dream actually that she was going to die. And she felt that she could kind of have a reset, and that monkey could get off her back if she did the 40-day fast. And that's what that was about. And then she went to Honduras, and it happened.
I remember Wanda talking about that moment too in an interview. Yeah.
I'll never forget it. She told me in the car. And it just came out of nowhere. And I wasn't like, how do you respond to somebody when they tell you that? It's like, I didn't quite know what to say. But she said it had to do with her being in a forest, and she didn't tell me what happened, but she told me that she died in the dream, and that she felt she needed to cleanse and do a total cleanse, and that she was going to do it for 40 days and 40 nights like Jesus did. And that was going to cleanse her mind and her body and her soul, and she was going to try to get her mind right and get that out of her system. And so she wasn't going to think about it, and just kind of get a clean spirit. And she did it, and it messed around and happened.
Wanda said she had premonitions about it and didn't tell Lisa because she thought it was gonna be real. Then Lisa told her, she knew she was gonna die, and she never told her. She's like, maybe if I don't say it, it won't be real. It won't happen. Putting words out, is a thing. but it seemed like the wheels were already in motion for it to happen because that's just, it seemed like that was a divine order.
Yeah.
We can go to the next slide if you're ready.
Yeah.
Teen Choice Awards.
Oh, yes. Teen Choice Awards. She loved that because it was for young people.
Yeah.
And they just absolutely adored her. So she loved being there with the young people. She felt like she had an impact on the young people. So
Mm-hmm.
she loved that. It was like no drama. You know what I mean? It was not about TLC, but it was about her, which she appreciated, and she really loved being there. That was a good night. That was a really good night.
The Honey Magazine show.
Oh, love the honey shoot.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
That's
She
what I
looked
do.
beautiful. She looked beautiful. She was real particular about her makeup,
Mm-hmm.
like how her makeup was, and she loved the makeup that they did with her on the honey shoot. I remember she was very, very happy about that. She thought she looked good. She loved how she looked in the honey shoot.
That she looked great. Like
She did.
stunning.
She did. She looked stunning. She did. She really liked that. She got a lot of compliments on that shoot. She was very pleased. A lot of times she didn't like how she looked in some pictures, in some photo shoot, or she thought she looked okay. But a lot of times she thought she looked okay, but she thought she looked pretty in the photo in the honey shoot.
Now I don't know how true this is, but I remember reading a chat with a fan, and apparently this was like early '98. So I don't know if you ever had this conversation with her, but there was a moment where she didn't like how she looked, and she would tell fans to take down some of her pictures.
I don't know anything about that, but I wouldn't be surprised because I know she's told me often she didn't like how she looked in pictures at all. But she did like that. And I'm like, girl, like, have you seen yourself? Have you looked in the mirror? Like, you don't need makeup on at all. You look like you're 15. But, she's a perfectionist, so she doesn't see perfection just like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. We can go to the next slide too. The FHM photo shoot with Mark Baptiste. Do you remember this?
What was there? I can't remember when I'm there. It seems like I remember the picture on the left, but I don't remember the picture on the right.
Okay.
So, honestly, I can't remember.
Do you remember the time where it came out and, because FHM, I didn't realize until I looked it up that it was kind of like almost like a Playboy for Europe.
She was supposed to do Playboy, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I remember that.
She was excited too.
Like apparently there was a test shoot that just jogged the memory. Apparently there was a test shoot she did. Is that true? Okay, thank you. All right. That was actually the last slide.
I cannot remember. Honestly, do you know when this was done? Because there's been times I've been at photo shoots and then I was out running errands, so I never saw the photos being taken.
It was in mid 2001.
I don't know. I do not know.
You were doing your job. That's what you were doing. You were doing your job. Like, hey, I don't know. I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing at that time. So don't worry. If I know everything that happened.
If we were in a different city, she might be like, there was something that she needed in that particular city. So if we were leaving right after the photo shoot, she'd be like, well, while I'm doing this, I want you to go to this place and get me this, go to this place and get me this. So when we, leave to go to the airport, I've got, these things that I needed. So,
Yeah.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because honestly, she took so many photos that year, and I was like, "Where's the performances?" I can't wait.
She was getting everything queued up for her plans when she went solo. She was prepping.
What can you tell us, like, what happened with performances? Like, why wasn't there not what? I mean, I know she's supposed to perform on 9/11, but like, and of course we know what happened. But anything
You have to keep in mind she was prohibited from doing certain things outside of TLC according to her contract. So she had to get approval to do certain things. It's management.
Who was managing her during this time?
No, I'm talking about TLC's management.
Oh,
If they thought it wasn't in the best interest of TLC, then she couldn't do it.
So
if it was going to get too much shine, then she couldn't do it. Yeah, exactly.
It just answers my question, and I'm just like, I'm with it. We already here. I'm just taking the information because that's crazy. She has an album coming out, and you don't want her to perform any songs from it whatsoever because you want her in the studio for 3D. Yeah.
That is right. You hit it right there, right?
Because fans were giving her hell for not being in the studio when they started recording. I seen the, like, we were doing our digging. I seen it, like, people. Why fans? We're gonna pass on that part. So, anything else we can that you would like to say before we get to the Q&A? I see some starred questions, but I'm not sure we answered all of them.
Yeah, there's a couple that we have.
All right. So we'll leave that, and we'll get right to the Q&A. We asked the first one about Black. What's the one thing your person?
We already asked that.
Yeah, thank you for filtering it out. Thank you. All right, so one question is, was it a challenge? We already talked about that.
Yeah.
What's her experience with taking the herbs? Have you ever took the herbs?
What herbs are we talking about? We're talking about Dr. Sabi's herbs.
Well, we can talk about both. That's what
Dr. Sabi's herbs.
Yes.
I did the cleanse when I was in Honduras both times, and it was. I think the most difficult part was you can't really eat what you want to eat because they prepare all of your food for you. So it's very strict. You can only drink water and this drink that they make out of I forget what it's called. It's some kind of I can't remember. It's some kind of berry and water mixed together. But that's all you can drink. So for like the 3 weeks that we were there the last time, that's all we could drink was water and this drink once a day. And the once a day drink was in the morning, the juice, and was only about this much. So for the whole other 3 weeks, all we could drink was water. And for breakfast, it would be fruit. That's it, fruit. And then you'd have lunch that was maybe on a plate about this big. Mm-hmm. And then you'd have dinner. And there was like nothing really to eat in between. So it was really flushing your body out. So like I'm a foodie. I love food. And that was the toughest part for me. The herbs, it was nasty, but after a while, you got used to it. But for like the first week, it really did make you gag. Some people got sick. But it was not pleasant. It was not pleasant at all. No. Um, it did make you. It cleaned you out. You did feel lighter. You did feel better. You did feel clearer. You were able to focus more. It did work. After I left there, I did continue with his herbs afterwards, and it really was helpful. So yes, I did do the herbs. I stayed in touch with Sadie for a while and did some of his other products as well. So yes.
Okay. All right. The next question is, what was your experience in Honduras on a spiritual level? Did you feel the same things Lisa felt?
I did. I was um, not sure that I was going to have that same experience at first, but after a while, when you're in peace and quiet, you don't have television and you don't have internet, and all of that stuff. And especially with a job like I had, where it's constantly moving and answering phones and people yelling and noise and all of that. And then you're just slowed down and you're in peace and quiet. And the village that we were at was actually at the foot of a mountain on top of a hot spring. So you could actually go, they built a hut over a hot spring so that you could actually, first of all, the hot spring ran through the village in between two rows of huts. So every time you walked, you're getting steam from the hot spring, which is full of minerals. So you're constantly getting minerals on the outside of your body and you're cleaning the inside of your body. So that's bound to make you feel better. But you could actually walk into a hut and it was like a natural sauna, where you could clean the toxins from your skin and your body. And the baths and the showers that we took were from the waters from the hot spring. So you're constantly just getting clean from the inside out every day. And that's bound to make you feel better. And then you could lay in these hammocks and look up into the mountain, and there's literally wild horses that you could see running on the mountain. So it's like something from a movie. So I mean, when you get so much peace and quiet and your body feels so much better, I mean, you're bound to feel better spiritually and mentally, and you have time to stop and think and contemplate everything, and things just slow down, and you do have I don't know if you want to call it a spiritual awakening or whatever, but it's just because you slow down so much and you have time to think and you're clearer and you feel better and you're lighter and you're getting rest, and you just have that kind of awakening in your soul because you're so rested and clean.
Yeah, I honestly wanted to experience that, but then then Dr. Sabi passed, so I was like, I kind of felt like at that point everything would probably be controlled in a certain way and probably tampered with, would make me iffy about it.
But I think it's a way of life there. I mean, regardless if Sadie's there or not. I mean, it's still the same belief system, it's still the same products, it's still the same culture. So I don't think that would be changed at all.
Okay. I might give it a chance then.
Yeah.
Good. You should.
You got to look up people's vlogs and go in there. They've documented it very well.
I saw someone going to the bathroom in that picture. We saw Lisa with the pajamas on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess it's still blue.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can go to the bathroom, but you can't flush the toilet with the toilet paper, so you have to wipe and put it in the garbage can. But it's weird because you're so clean, it doesn't stink. If you can believe it or not. And Lisa told us that, and we didn't believe it, but it's actually true. It's true.
It kind of makes sense. It made me think of the people that I knew, like, I haven't showered in a couple of days or something, and they're that funky. I'm like, well, okay. I kind of believe you. All right.
And you know what's one of the best things there? They have a shower that's built outside, and you can actually take a shower outside in nature with the hot spring water with the sun coming down on you, and there's nothing like it in the world. It is amazing.
Like with the video we seen of Lisa, rocking.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Gotcha.
She looks so happy. She's just.
So the next question is, Stephanie, blessings to you. I just want to know, you mentioned, let me put it up here. I just want to know, you mentioned Lisa was a loner. When she wasn't working with, what was she doing when she wasn't working? What books did she read? What was some of her favorite sayings?
Oh God. Well, she read a lot of books on health and cooking. Things about live foods, how to cook healthy, things like that. She would read books that friends would recommend to her. A lot of what Dr. Sadie would recommend for her to read. Um, she read some books on Kundalini yoga. Um, I recall. What she would do, she was just a regular person. She would hang out at her house. She would cook. She would clean. She would write. She would create. She would be online talking to her fans. She would, talk to her family. She would, plan family outings. She was just a regular person. She would just hang out and do the same things you or I would do. She was just a regular person. She'd get a taste for something and she'd go out and want to go out and get some Chinese food. You know what I mean? She just was a regular person. She did nothing. You would not think she was a superstar if you just didn't know who she was.
The next question is, what was Lisa's best cooked meal?
She liked to cook shrimp and lobster stuffed salmon. She would get a big salmon and fillet it, and she would get Dungeness crab and huge shrimp and stuff it inside and bake it. And it would be inside.
That's a pescatarian meal, honey. That's a pescatarian meal. I probably would try it. Like that's a lot of meat, but I'll try it.
And she would make that for like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And she loved to eat grits and avocado because she thought the avocado tastes like scrambled eggs. And I never believed it till I tried it, and it actually does. It has like the consistency of a scrambled egg, and it tastes like eggs.
Yep.
She loved to eat almonds, and she loved to make smoothies. The smoothies with almond milk, frozen fruit, and a little bit of vanilla. She would eat that as a meal. She loved cereal with almond milk.
Cheerios and vanilla, almond milk. That's all mine. I love that song. I tried it again recently, like Cheerios with vanilla almond milk. I tried it again. When I first tried it, I didn't like it. I'm like, this is damn sweet. But
a little bit of maple syrup for the sweetness.
You said, what was it?
A little bit of maple syrup for the sweetness. That's what she would use instead of sugar.
Oh, so like plain Cheerio with okay, gotcha.
She would get like she put like maybe a half of bag, like a half of blender full of frozen like blueberries, and then maybe half of what was left full of almond milk, and then she put a dash of maple syrup and maybe a teaspoon of vanilla and blend it all up, and it would be just the most delicious smoothie ever.
All right. Well, we got this on camera, so I'm gonna go back to this and see how I'm gonna feel. Trying it. Now give an update. The next question is, which is the last one, by Angie herself. Was it hard cooking for her since she didn't eat certain things?
Well, the stuff that she would have me cooking was the simple stuff like the grits and the almond, the avocado or fruit or things like that. She did the big cooking herself because she was so picky. She was so picky. So no, it wasn't hard because I would do the simple thing. Miss Angie.
Yes.
She was she told me that when she decided to give up meat, she had been cooking chicken in a pan one day and she saw the veins and the blood and it turned her off so much she decided not to eat anymore, and that did it for her.
What blood too much?
The chicken she was cooking, she saw the blood and the veins when she was cooking it, and that's what turned her off to it, and she couldn't do it anymore.
You know, I'm starting to get like that myself because all I love it when it's already prepared.
Exactly.
That's different. When you see the process, damn, like, you know, you can't think of the suffering the animal had to go through to get here. But at the same time, we would suffering if the motherfuckers came over and started chewing on us. So I'm just saying, I don't know.
She don't give a damn about the fish.
Crab, she didn't give a damn about
She don't give a
that.
damn about the fish.
But it was the chicken though. It was the chicken. Wet blood. It was just too much. Yeah. Felt it.
It was so funny. One time we were in New York and we were at some mall or something and we came down the escalator and she had she was just on one that day and everything smelled so good in there and she got a slice of pizza and a Cinnabon and she was like, don't tell anyone I ate this pizza and this Cinnabon because it's got dairy on it. Shh.
Back then, that seemed so like innocent. It was just like, okay, Lisa, I won't tell nobody.
She crushed that piece of pizza and that Cinnabon. I was like, I won't tell anybody, but it tickled me so much to see her like actually splurge once and do something bad. You know, she thought that was like the worst thing in the world was to eat a piece of pizza and a Cinnabon.
Look at Angie. I'm not there, but you can to see me coming. I'm right there with you. I was pescatarian for summer, but I folded on fried chicken. I love fried chicken. I can't. Like, that is the meat I love. I tried what's it called? Jackfruit. I was trying to make it, but it wasn't coming out right. And but I was trying. I'll try it again, but I'm saying that chicken, good. Good. There is a couple of this. Okay, we're going to end after these three questions. We're going to end after this three. Because, Stephanie, what are some funny memories that we didn't see in the documentary that you would like to share with us? Was your dreams just as vivid?
Funny memories. I remember one time I went to go get her ready for we had to go somewhere and I was calling her and she wasn't answering the phone and I went upstairs to knock on her door, her bedroom door, and she opened the door butt booty naked and just was like, "What's up, Steph?" And I was just like, we had to get ready to leave in like 30 minutes. And she's just sitting there having a full-on conversation with me. Oh, what time's the car gonna be here? It's gonna be here like 20 minutes. Oh, well, did you get to such and such? Yeah, I did. But she's not trying to cover anything. And she just kept on talking. I'm like, you wanna put some clothes on so we can talk about this? No, I'm good. So, who's gonna be engineer today? That's gonna be such and such. She just free as a bird. Free as a bird. That was interesting. Another time we had similar to a story that was told earlier today by Ian. We were in we were in a Jamaican food restaurant. She wanted some Jamaican food, and she and I were in the little lobby area waiting for the food to be done. And this dude came in. He looked like a pimp, I swear to God. And he just thought he was the Mac. And he came over to me and he just was flirting and everything. He walked up to Lisa and he was like, "Hey, baby girl, you can help me try to get your mom's number. Tell your mom I think she's beautiful and she should call me sometime." She was like, "Nigga, please." Like, dude, that's my boss. Can you please? Like, but he straight up thought she was like a teenager and I was her mom, and he tried to use her to try to get my phone number, and he had like no idea who she was, which was hysterical. We laughed about that like the whole car ride home. But let's see, another one that stands out to me. We were at this one pissed me off, but it was funny. We were at Williams was doing for everybody was there. It was in Atlanta, so everybody was there. And Hype said, "Well, when you guys get there, go back into the back where I'm set up, so you won't have to be around all the riffraff because everybody was there getting high, getting drunk, and it was just rappers everywhere."
Where was
And
it?
it was in Atlanta.
Okay.
And we got there and we went into the back, and it was just me and her back there. We were waiting for Hype to get back there, and Master P came back in the back, and Lisa walked up to him and was like, "Oh, hey," she had never met him. And she was like, "Hey, Master P, uh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Lisa." And he was like real cocky and conceited. And he was like, he didn't even like really acknowledge her or shake her hand when she held her hand out. And he was like, "Oh, so now you can run back, little girl, and tell all your little friends that you met Master P now." And like turned around and walked away from her to the other side of the room. And she just looked at me, and I wanted to cuss him out so bad, but I'm personal assistant. That's not my place. And then Hype came in there, and he was like, "Oh, Hype, what's up?" And Hype was like, "Oh, so I see you met my girl Left Eye." And the look on his face was just like, "Oh shit." And he was like, "Oh yeah, Left Eye, what's up, girl? I was just playing with you, right?" And she looked at him like, "Nigga, don't get out of my face with that bullshit you just pulled on me." But he was mortified, and she never called him out like in front of Hype for what he did to her, but he was so disrespectful to her. Like I've never had any respect for him since then. But yeah, okay. So funny memories, and didn't see it.
That's
What
why
was
I
that?
can't
Was that Courtney laughing like that? Oh, see, Angie, see, it's a hot mess. What was the other part of that question?
Do you remember any of your dreams vividly?
No, I do not.
Gotcha.
No, I do not.
Did you try her gumbo?
I did not try her gumbo, but I've heard it's phenomenal. I have tried some of her other cooking though, and it's really good. It's
Oh.
really good. I've tried her salmon was phenomenal. It's very tender and very good. She uses a lot of herbs and spices, like natural herbs and spices when she cooks, which makes it really brings out the natural flavor in a lot of her food. But I have not tried her gumbo. I've tried her crab, her shrimp, her salmon, her vegetables. She makes portobello mushrooms taste like steak. Really, it's
Mm-hmm.
very, yeah. But she was an excellent cook.
Well, that's all the fan questions we have. Um, anything I want to say? Court, you want to say anything?
All I gotta say, I never related to a person so much.
India.
Just thank you for coming. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this
Thank you.
late. Like we're into the next day. This really became a 2-day symposium on attention.
Literally.
Yeah.
This symposium went on for 11 hours.
But it was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah, I've been watching you guys all day and I really enjoyed it. I want to thank y'all so much for doing this. I think it's great and I hope it goes on for years and years and years. And I would love to continue to be a part of it if you guys have me. And I appreciate all of you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you. Like, is there anything you wanted to ask or anything else you want to share before we wrap this? We'll wrap this up.
I
Oh,
want to know what is it that drives you guys to do this? Because I know it's got to be so time consuming. I mean, there's a lot of us that loves Lisa, but you guys have gone so far and above. Like, what is it that does it for you guys?
I could say it. Too much ignorant people in the world that don't want to do simple research.
That's a good one. That often gets to me too.
Yeah. And do you want to go? Or you want me to go?
I guess I'm an archivist, so nothing bugs me out more than people telling incorrect stories about people that were too good in this world. And everybody has their history. We're all walking books of history. And I think everybody's story should be told to the fullest ability and all counts and all sides. And I love Lisa. She gave so much to this world. And I feel like she's put on the back burner so much, especially when it comes into conversations about hip hop. And I want her to be acknowledged rightfully. And that's the goal, is to see her in academic spaces, to see her get into her lyricism, get into her mind beyond hip hop and into wellness and into every facet that she was into. It's just like, how are we not uncovering more of this? How are we not doing more research? Why are we not acknowledging her? Why are we not giving her these tributes that we should be giving her on a daily basis, like a lot of other artists are praised for? And so that's really a lot of the driving force behind this for me.
I love it.
Well, I was just a casual fan until the TLC movie happened. I was just being a fan. Just, hi, how you doing? Just checking in, and then the movie happened, and I felt like all hell broke loose, and it did. And it just bugged me for a while. I learned more and more about Lisa through y'all. And I'm like, why are people talking about this? This should be publicized a little bit more, especially y'all interview. I'm like, why is the TLC covering this? They're talking about this. Why is the Shade Room not talking about it? We need more blogs actually heightening this situation, because these aren't just little people talking. No, these are people who actually work with her side by side, ate with her, hell, sat in her house.
Yeah. That's, I couldn't have said it better.
All
Couldn't have
right.
said it better. But there's so many people that aren't doing that, and I just appreciate y'all so much. Thank you.
Hey, like we have goals. It's like I said when I was gonna do this, I have certain goals I want to meet to help make sure this is this is something that I know whenever I decide. Because at some point we're gonna have to put our hat down. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We can
Yeah.
only do things for so long. Either it takes. I've seen fans go out bad, and I'm just like either it takes you or you take it.
Yep.
So I have my goals, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm at my goals. I'm going back to where I was. So this is part of my goals.
I'll talk to y'all. You did a great job. I appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you so much as well. Thank you.
Yeah, y'all get some sleep.
Yes.
Oh,
Woo.
What's your favorite song on Supernova?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Your favorite songs?
Probably Hot, because I feel like she came out hard and stuck up for herself for the first time, which I felt like she needed to do. I feel like everything else was about teaching, was about everybody else, but that was about her saying, bitch, I'm here. This is me. And I'm hot. And I felt that. And I loved that.
This right here.
And Lisa poured so much of her craft and gave so much. The least we can do is keep her name alive.
The
Yep.
least we can do.
Amen. That's right, Vivi. But yes, so I would say hot.
All right. Beautiful.
All right,
Is there
All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm sure I'll be talking to y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, let's start off
Brittany,
live.
I'm not connected with you yet, but see, India done messed up because now I know her. And this dude right here, he's always got me to deal with. So y'all done messed up now. So I'm sure I'll be in touch. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we're gonna close this out, aren't we? Do we need to go? I don't even want to go over to the closings.
I mean, if we want to be proper, we can, but it's only gonna be the three of us because I know T and Mo. And I'm gonna say Mojo. Jojo, where is Mo? Where is
Jojo's taking a nap.
Mojo sleep.
Probably same thing with T.
Woo! What time is it? It's 12. Lord have mercy.
About to be 1.
About to be 1. All right, let's go over and close this bad boy out.
All right, you want to do it here or go to the next one?
We're gonna go to the next one. We're gonna do it properly.
Okay.
We gotta wrap it up nice over here.
Come on, let's do it. And the
All right,
stream.
meet us over there, y'all. We're about to close out and get emotional and stuff.
All right, do your thing.